This is every entity in the Minecraft horror mod Wonderland.jar, a mod that adds unique dimensions I have never experienced before. So today I wanted to explain all the entities that appear in these dimensions, with each of them having their own unique lore, models, and scares. But with that being said, let's start with the first entity called the Eyeless. The Eyeless, also known as I Love Blocks 4578, resembles a Steve skin but with eyes disturbingly sewn shut, not letting him be able to see, giving him this very messed up look. In order to find him, we first need to be in Wonderland. From there, I discovered a pyramid with a chest containing a book, warning us not to stay. We ignore it, causing us to enter a new dimension called the Brickways. Now, the Eyeless is one of 7 players with lore, with his original Minecraft username being I Love Blocks 4578. Like I Love Blocks, the other 6 players turned into entities that we'll talk about later. But right now, we get to learn how exactly I Love Blocks turned into Eyeless. Here's how it goes. While being alone in the Brickways, he found a crystal block and became obsessed with it. Then an entity who saw that and didn't like how much he was being happy, so he took his eyes, sewing them shut, leaving I Love Blocks blind, and causing him to go insane. While exploring the Brickways, I found a book that tells you how to escape, saying, take his crystal, enrage the blind one. It's your only way to open the gates. Breaking this crystal block lets you escape both the Brickways and the Eyeless. But first, you have to find the teleporter. Breaking the block only activates it. When you break the crystal block, that's when he gets angry. The Eyeless isn't a normal mob. He holds a pickaxe and can break and place blocks. Since you broke his crystal, he will spawn more frequently, but if you don't spot him, you'll hear a cave noise when he's near. So best bet, while finding the teleporter, you gotta avoid him. Block hallways so he needs to break blocks before reaching you, then eventually, if you run long enough, he disappears, giving you time to escape. The demonic fish is a black eel-like creature. It has a big mouth, similar to the xenomorphs in the Alien movie. You'll encounter the demonic fish in oceans or lakes, where it can randomly spawn. You can also find it in the Dimension Abyss, a place covered in ice. Once it sees you, it immediately tries to attack you. Since it's a rare spawn, you don't usually have to worry, but if you do see it, it's best to run away. One cool note is that if it kills you, your death message will show your name, followed by a fish emoji. The Ethereal Demon. The Ethereal Demon, also known as 666, just by looking at this entity, it seems to have real-life eyes and resembles a shadow. We can find this entity in the dimension The Slip. In the dimension, you'll hear the worst noise ever. Take a listen. Now, while exploring this dimension, I was able to spot him casually there in the distance. Here, he didn't seem like he had any eyes, which is important because he has 2 behaviors, where he either stalks you or he chases you. Here, it was stalking. As soon as I went close to it, it disappeared. But if you aren't so lucky and he's in his chasing behavior, he'll send you to a dimension we'll talk about later that you do not want to be in. Occasionally, if you don't see it there, it will randomly show up in your Minecraft world. If you want to survive this entity, all you need to do is pillar up, and it won't be able to get you, or just make sure it doesn't touch you. The Eyed Flesh is a bright red entity, covered with a bunch of eyes. His skin symbolizes that he's exposing his flesh. You'll encounter it roaming the world, but especially in the Jungle Warehouse dimension, a maze of wooden planks. Within that dimension, there are many rooms, some containing chests, though most of them are pretty empty. However, if you keep exploring, you'll eventually find the flesh, as I did. The flesh forces you to look at him. I tried moving my mouse, but it just wouldn't work. When you find him, he'll either do that or simply stalk you, then despawn. Despite that, this entity is harmless and can't actually deal damage. The Eyed is essentially another form of the Eyed Flesh, where the Eyed Flesh transforms into the Eyed. Even though it still spawns in the Jungle Warehouse, this new form does have some differences. Instead of being red, the Eyed is black, and now you can clearly see all the eyes on its body. Unlike the Eyed Flesh, the Eyed is aggressive. When it sees you, it charges at you fast. Pro is literally zoom in. If it touches you, it inflicts darkness and slowness for 5 seconds before despawning. If you're wondering how to deal with this in the Jungle Warehouse dimension, your best bet is to block the walls or hide in the many rooms in it. The Flicker is the tallest entity in the mod. It has a black scrawny body like an Enderman, and its face flickers with different sequences of white dots. You'll encounter the Flicker in a place called the Depths, a stone ground area that's completely pitch black. You can barely see anything. To see what this dimension was all about, I started exploring. And suddenly, this happened. Why? Wait, don't jump.
You just take damage.
What just happened? Now, the flicker is a rare spawn, and once you see it, it forces you to stare, causing massive damage that kills you almost instantly. Even in creative mode, it still kills. Since the flicker is extremely overpowered and hard to defeat, the only real strategy is to get behind blocks or place them so you can break the pull effect it has. Surviving the flicker is mostly luck, but as you explore the depths, you'll eventually find a spiral stone structure. Once you go all the way down, it teleports you to another dimension, letting you escape both the depths and the flicker. The Helpless has the same Steve default skin, with a shirt and purple pants, but as you can see, its top half is missing. It only has legs, which are short and not normal, almost resembling deer legs. Now, the Helpless appears in the dimension called the Tunnels, a stone maze with only left and right, forward and backward paths, no other options. The Helpless goes through these tunnels, so you have to be careful. He moves around corners silently and have no sound to warn you. But once he sees you, he sprints straight towards you, and when he's close, he explodes, dealing massive damage and blinding you. The Messenger is a tall black figure that moves its arms up and down. You mainly see it in your world either in a T-pose or standing nearby when you least expect it. The Messenger doesn't attack you. It's there to make you feel more paranoid, as if you're seeing something you never thought you would. This entity doesn't harm you, it simply T-poses and waves at you. But it does spawn the Entity Mob. No One, also known as 1LW046, is a Minecraft Steve skin with a black sensor bar covering his face, so you can't see his eyes or mouth. He is the second of the 7 players turned into entities. While he was in Wonderland, he turned insane from all strange events happening, and tragically passed away. You can usually see No One in your overworld or in the famous Wonderland, the mod's main dimension. This place being a flat biome with trees arranged in a pattern. No One behaves in unique ways. If you're in your Minecraft world while you sleep or go about your day, he can appear suddenly. For instance, in this clip, he just stares at you doing nothing. But sometimes he stalks you, slowly following, and if he gets too close, he disappears. No One is strange, constantly appearing and stalking you, but he never harms you. But still, don't underestimate him, because if you get too close, he can teleport you out of your world. He might send you to Sequence, a dimension of bricks in a strange pattern, or to Inconsistency, a world of massive cobblestone blocks. So No One never harms you, but he is unsettling. No One Twisted is an entity that looks similar to the last one, but here he became 10 times longer, and his skin became pale with a bit of red under his neck. No One Twisted can mainly be seen in the overworld. From there, once you see him, he has 3 behaviors. First is when he flies, where he spawns floating in the air, and if you look at him, he gives you blindness, or teleports you to a different dimension, the 2 dimensions we talked about earlier. But if you don't see him flying, you'll notice him in a different, more aggressive behavior, staring at you, swaying his arms and legs, then turning invisible and chases you as fast as possible, until catching up to you, then teleporting you again to Sequence or Inconsistency. Then in this clip, he just spawns and stands there menacingly. Like No One, he's just another version of the last entity, but with a different form. So just like before, it's best not to touch him, if you don't want to end up in a different dimension. The Pillar is a black 6-block tall entity. At first, it looks like a static object with some strange features compared to the others. Right now, it doesn't seem like an entity, but hear me out. You mostly see the Pillar in the overworld. While playing Minecraft, I spotted it just standing and I observed what it does. After some research, the Pillar actually has 4 behaviors. As we saw, sometimes it just does nothing, you can just walk up and it won't respond. You can't hit it or break it, it just despawns. But other times, you don't want to see it. Sometimes it stays still, flickering in and out, becoming invisible and visible repeatedly. Then if you get close, it just despawns. Then there's the Stare. If you look at it, it might vanish. Or it might grow angry. When it grows angry, this happens.
Oh, whoa, oh, no, 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 no,
It reveals a grotesque figure. After that, you get hit with blindness, nausea, or darkness. Then we also see the text that it sends in the chat. This being a hex text, and when decoded, it translates to, "Look at what they did to me." And after that, the pillar despawns. Hey guys, Future Sam here. If you're currently enjoying the video, consider subscribing. These videos take a ton of time to make, so all the support would make me internally grateful. And let's get back to the video. Woo! Remember Me is an entity that looks similar to no one, but we can't see his face, and he also uses the default Steve skin. However, his colors are much darker, so we barely see any color from him. You could spot this mob in the dimension called What Once Was and Remembrance. Remembrance being a dimension filled with a bunch of crosses set in a plains biome, and these crosses stretch across the entire map. In both of these dimensions, you can just see him floating in the air, which is his main way to move around. This entity is hostile, attempting to kill you, dealing 3 hearts of damage, while also giving you blindness and preventing you from sprinting for a few seconds. With this entity, you can actually kill him, you just have to be careful when fighting him so you don't die. The Skinless is an entity similar to the Minecraft Creaking. It has the same body and the same small branches coming out of it. You can find the Skinless in the dimension What Once Was and Remembrance. Once you see it, it runs super fast towards you. When it gets close, you get a good look at it. It has no color at all, just a plain black, dull version of a Creaking. The Skinless has 2 behaviors. Sometimes it just watches you, and if you get close, it disappears, playing a strange noise. Then there's the phase where he chases you. If you're near him, it makes a loud noise and chases you incredibly fast. And worst of all, if it touches you, it kicks you out of the world. Which won't be the last entity that will be doing that. Someone is a mob that also uses the default Steve skin, but now his head has 1 big eye on it, and there's black goop on his shirt. He also carries a pickaxe. You can see someone in your world or in the tunnels, where we saw the Helpless. Someone is a dangerous mob, always trying to teleport you to a different dimension. What he does depends on where you are. In the overworld, he can break and place blocks. If there's a lake, he builds a cobblestone bridge to cross it. Then, depending on the area, his effect changes. In the world, he gives you blindness, then gives a cave sound to tell you he spawned. But in the tunnels, if he catches you, he sends you to the worst dimension called Torture. So the best thing to do is stay hidden or run when you see him. Somebody is a mob just like someone, but instead of the Steve skin, it uses the Alex skin. It still has the same black goop and 1 eye on its face. You can see somebody in both the tunnels and the overworld, but as I mentioned, somebody just does the same thing that someone does. Dang, that's a weird sentence to say. Sorrow is a Steve skin taken over by black goop, with 1 white dot on its face. Sorrow, also known as XX I'm Still Sorrow XX, being the 3rd of the original 7 players who got turned into entities. We don't know exactly what happened to Sorrow, but we do know something bad happened, turning him into this entity. You can see this mob in your Minecraft world, a dimension called the depths, the corners, and in the tunnels. When you spot him in any of these places, he actually doesn't attack you, but instead he might surprise you by spawning behind you and then disappearing with a message in chat saying behind you. Then in another form, he puts his hands on his face, as if he's crying like a kid. But Sorrow is an interesting entity, but instead feels sorry for. The Eye is a mob with completely black skin and 1 large eye. Just like someone and somebody, he mostly appears in the overworld, the endless house, corners, the depths, the tunnels, and the catacombs. Yeah, this entity is everywhere. The Eye has 2 purposes. First, he stalks you from a distance, watching quietly. Then, he switches to a chase mode, running at you, trying to touch you. If he catches you or surprises you, something bad happens just like in this clip. You'll know he's near because you'll hear a cave sound. If he doesn't catch you, he just simply disappears. The entity is a tall, dark creature with 3 eyes. When it becomes angry, its eyes glow red, turning into one of the most dangerous entities in the mod. You mainly find it in the Torture dimension. In this dimension, it can act either passively, slowly walking towards you, or aggressively. Once you get close, its eyes turn red, and it triggers a jump scare. charging at you and breaking blocks in its path. As it runs, it destroys torches, making everything dark. If you survive, it will eventually disappear. In one of the books I found, it says, "There are many fake exits here, but I must find the real one. Oh no, it's coming." Then saying wake up repeatedly over and over again. So this is how you escape. Keep searching until you find the real exit being a black pillar, and the entity will leave you behind. Fate is an entity with a corrupted Steve skin. He has no arms and a very slim body. His skin has black lines in random directions. After describing how he looks, you can see Fate in both the overworld and Wonderland. Fate is the fourth of the 7 players who turned into entities, originally known as Fate XX092. In the lore, he was bullied by the others. In the game's code, there's a file called fate.txt that describes how he dreamed of being pulled into Minecraft to Wonderland, possibly causing him to teleport his friends there too. In this dream, he saw his friends tortured and twisted, and the other 6 players blamed him, ripping off his arms as resentment. The Hoarder, also known as Richie Dude 2001, is the 5th of the 7 players who turned into entities. His skin looks similar to an old Minecraft style that you would see in like 2015, the kind many players used in early versions of the game. But to find this entity, you must be inside Wonderland. Then, with enough luck, a diamond house can appear. Inside the house is a portal. To the left of the portal is a chest that contains a book. When you use the teleporter, you are sent to a diamond house that looks like something little kid versions of us would build. Here, there are several books in this area that explain his backstory. The books say Richie became obsessed with diamonds, saying he kept staring at his reflection and admiring his own face. But then, all of a sudden, he could no longer see his face in the reflection. This caused him to lose his sanity and become violent. When you see him, one of his behaviors is that he will send disturbing chat messages, such as "leave me alone," repeated multiple times, and "die." At first, he may only stalk you and watch you. At this phase, you can see him without his armor. But if you make him angry, he equips full diamond armor and a diamond sword and immediately attacks. It is possible to kill him, but it takes a lot of effort. The safest survival method is to avoid him. The red eye looks similar to the eye, but its eye is red, and the eye shape is vertical instead of being horizontal. Now, red eye is unusual because it can appear in your main world, the nether, the corners, the tunnels, the catacombs, and the slip, which also contains many other entities. If you're exploring and the red eye sees you, this happens. It immediately rushes towards you at very high speeds. When it gets close, it applies blindness and slowness. It also forces your camera to lock onto it, making you stare at it and preventing you from controlling your mouse. Because you're slowed and unable to look away, you become an easy target for any other hostile entity in that dimension you're in. The spawn, also known as Spawny Wompy 0123, is the 6th player of the 7 who turned into an entity, maintaining the default Steve skin, but with dark coloring and stretched limbs, making his body look unnatural and distorted. In the lore, Spawny Wompy 0123 was spending time with other players, before being teleported into Wonderland. There, he saw the 3-eyed entity, and got scared, and not wanting to possibly die, he ran and eventually got into the Wonderland forest to escape. It is believed he later reached a mossy cobblestone structure, then becoming trapped inside and eventually transforming him into the spawn. You can find this entity in Wonderland by locating the same mossy cobblestone structure he went inside. Looking into the area, it appears mostly empty. Then the spawn can be seen standing still and watching you. This is his first behavior, where he does not attack and only stands there in a threatening way. While exploring the mossy cobblestone maze, there are warning signs with red torches that say "don't leave." This suggests that the spawn is lonely. Then there's his second behavior, the hunt phase. A message appears telling you to hide. During this phase, the spawn actively searches for you. You can often tell he is nearby because of strange noises he can make. Fighting him is not a good option. Even with full iron armor, he can nearly kill the player. The safest method is to keep moving through the mossy cobblestone maze or turtle. Escaping this dimension ain't easy. since the maze contains several fake exits that lead to nowhere. If you want to know, the real escape path is a pit that leads downward. Following that lower path eventually leads to the true exit. The vessel looks like a statue made of stacked stone bricks with a single stone eye and black ooze coming out of its body. It appears more like a structure than a normal mob. The vessel is found in the catacombs. In this dimension, many vessels appear standing still like statues. They do not move as long as you are looking at them. Their behavior works like the weeping angels. If you stop looking at a vessel, it will quickly move and try to ambush you. If you get too close while not looking at it, you are likely to be attacked immediately. If you keep your eyes on it, it will stay frozen in place, often put in a strange pose. There is also lore behind the vessel. The word vessel means a container or an empty hose. In the lore, a vessel has no soul of its own. There is another form called the empty vessel, having no eye, only the stone body and black ooze. According to the lore, ethereal demons from the slip dimension possess these empty vessels. Ethereal demons are the shadow-like beings that cannot harm players physically on their own, so they take control of an empty vessel, causing them to gain a physical form and can attack. The Wanderer is a tall, thin black entity with a body shape similar to Slenderman, but it has no head. Its height and shape make it stand out clearly from normal mobs. The Wanderer can be seen in the overworld, Wonderland, and in a dimension called Remembrance. When encountered, this will happen. The Wanderer is passive and harmless. It does not chase or damage you. Its main interaction is just looking at you and giving gifts. If you stare at the Wanderer for too long, it will despawn. Compared to other entities, it isn't hostile. It acts more like a neutral figure that approaches players in a friendly way. One of the gifts the Wanderer gives you is the Wonder Feather. Where you make this recipe, it gives an item that will make you teleport to the brick dimension or the floating cobblestone one. Was Once is an entity that looks similar to Alex, but made into a distorted and disturbing form. Its body shape matches Alex's skin, since it has orange hair. From looking at its head, it is severely damaged, making it so we can only see red. Its natural spawn location is currently unknown. We don't know where to find this entity. Most information comes from directly spawning it rather than finding it naturally. When spawning this entity, it immediately forces you to look at it, then pulls you towards it. Wonder Tree, also known as Tree, is an entity that looks like a living tree creature. Its body is very slim, with branch-like extensions. Its arms look like small demonic fish shapes, attached to the branches, with its face appearing to have 6 eyes. The Wonder Tree only appears in the normal Minecraft world, and not in any other dimension, making it unusual compared to the many other entities. Now this mob will warn you through chat, saying things like "don't run," "look at me," and "come here," which will signal you that it's nearby. If it doesn't attack you immediately, it will stare at you from a distance and slowly move closer. It rushes towards you while flying and produces a loud, disturbing sound as it approaches. If it reaches you, a special death screen appears, and you're removed from the world. The chat then displays the message saying "go to sleep." The Woodseeker is an entity made of wooden planks. It has a tall, thin body and a hollowed out head, which gives it an empty and weird look. The Woodseeker is found in a dimension called the Endless House. In this dimension, it acts as the main thing you need to avoid. When the Woodseeker spots a player, it immediately becomes aggressive and begins to chase you. It deals a lot of damage, so fighting isn't an option, meaning the safest play is to run away from it, especially going inside the many doors in the dimension, since the Woodseeker cannot open doors. Because the entity being mad it can't get you, it just despawns. Your Mind, also known as Mindman-lol 954, is the 7th and final player who turned into an entity. Its skin is fully white, with multiple straight black patterns across the body. Mindman-lol 954 was said to have gone to sleep and woke up in the torture dimension. He tried to escape but ended up in the dimension called the Answer, where he was transformed into this entity, possibly being the person who wrote the book in the torture dimension telling us to wake up. Now, in the Answer dimension, it can appear standing still and watching you. Your mind also sends some weird text in chat, which is a wingding cipher, with this one saying, "What do you think you're doing here? Then, you should not be here, and go away." When you get too close, it deals heavy damage, and then disappears. One of its special abilities is mimicry. It can copy your armor, your username, and the item you're holding. It also forces your camera to lock onto it, similar to Eye's flesh and the red eye. When this happens, you can't move your mouse and are forced to stare at it, while it tries to damage you. Eyeball is a strange entity. Its appearance is a flat eye image rather than a full 3D creature. The eye design looks similar to the eye seen on several other entities, but unlike them, Eyeball appears more like a PNG style image instead of a modeled one. This entity appears in several dimensions, including the endless house, the corners, the depths, the tunnels, and the catacombs. It is harmless. The only thing that it does is it appears, watches you for a short time, and then disappears, making you a bit more paranoid or even creeped out. The invisible mob is an entity that you cannot see. This entity can spawn in your normal Minecraft world, Wonderland, the endless house, and in the jungle warehouse. Its main thing is with opening doors. The invisible mob is considered friendly and does not deal damage. It's more of something to make you paranoid. The siren is an entity with no legs. It moves using its arms, dragging and crawling itself across the ground instead of walking. Its face is damaged and distorted, but it still keeps a Steve-like structure. Parts of the person's flesh looks like they're being exposed. The only features we can see are his teeth. The siren can be found in the dimension called What Once Was, and in the tunnels. When you see it, it immediately rushes towards you, using a fast hand walking crawl. If it touches you, it will apply a withering effect that drains your health over time. Angel is an entity that appears as a white silhouette of a person. It sometimes has visible wings, which adds to its angel-like form. The angel is a rare spawn and is mainly found in the normal Minecraft world. Unlike most other entities, Angel isn't hostile and actually tries to support you. Because it appears rarely, there is limited footage, but several abilities are known. Angel can teleport the player back to their bed while placing a diamond in their hand and playing a bell chime sound. It can also send you safely to a bed location when you are stuck in another dimension. Another ability is lifting the player high above the ground and giving them a slow falling effect, so you'll land safely. When you approach the angel, it may send a warning message in chat that says he is coming, suggesting danger is nearby. The angel will most often appear when you're in danger, or in a dimension such as torture, with its main goal being to rescue you. Carrier is an entity that uses a Steve-style skin but has no arms. Its eyes have white pupils and its body is difficult to see clearly. It appears to be covered in a bunch of black goop, with at least 2 visible legs but no arms. The carrier can be found in the dimension called What Once Was and the tunnels. In these dimensions, it is highly aggressive. You can often hear it making loud and disturbing noises before it is clearly seen. Yeah, to survive this entity, you're clearly gonna need a hand, because he is insanely fast and immediately rushes towards you when you least expect it. The sphere is a shadow-like creature with a completely dark body shaped like a circle. In the middle is a single eye, like many of the other entities. I found this entity in the torture dimension. When I thought I found an exit, it instead teleported me here instead. This dimension is called the Bedrock Hallways, being entirely made of bedrock with a path that makes you go forward or left and right forever. After exploring, I didn't find the entity at first, but I found something else. It looked like a strange ritual area. Inside was a weird eye block and a chest. In the chest was a book and 2 items placed in an interesting position. The book talks about someone hiding something from them. It possibly refers to a weapon to beat the entities, because it says it's not supposed to exist here. It also says whatever this thing is, it should be used wisely to ward off their evil. Then I found out the 2 items were a crafting recipe. When placed into a crafting table, they make a cross, which does this. Now, the cross doesn't work very well, it only stuns the spear. As you can see, I still died. The entity not only killed me, but it also kicked me out of the game, saying I was eaten out alive. What you see there was the spear's aggressive form. Its true form is just a floating eye walking passively and not chasing you. But once you aggro it, it grows teeth, because it is literally eating you. So how do we beat it? I came up with a theory. Since there were 2 crosses in the chest, maybe 2 crosses would kill the spear. So I tested it.
Hey.
Okay, there we go. Use it.
Oh,
Die.
There's a cooldown.
Die.
Cooldown.
Oh, wait, why is there a cooldown? Okay, I used mine. Wait, he's still not dead! Yeah, that showed the cross only stuns him. The only way to survive is to find the exit. You must keep running forward until you find a large white door. You can go inside and escape. But yeah guys, that's it for this video. If you like this video, you'll love this one. I'll see you there. Peace.